Sandy, you just got muted.
So now that we have it, me, Young, and also everybody else here will also take the moment to wish you from this Simcha, from the future Simchas, from all past Simchas, and the sorts of the incredible work you're doing in bringing the geulah in a direct way, in the next. The Eibusher should grant you the biggest Simcha that you would want, which is to be able to celebrate this Simcha and all future Simchas in the Beis HaMikdash with Mashiach Tzidkenu. Take it from me on Monday.
Amen.
I don't know if it was this stuff. You go ahead.
I was just going to explain that Sandy just gave bracha to Rabbi Wolf, because the first part we couldn't hear it. The reception wasn't perfect.
The reception wasn't great. But I don't know if it was mentioned last week, just kind of the general sense of the numbers that were coming in about the event. Conservative estimates are close about somewhere, I think it's fair to say, 500,000. It's a conservative estimate. Were on the Menatzchim, and it's amazing because it is across. We have these ways we can see with heavy concentration in Borough Park, heavy concentration in New Jersey, probably Lakewood area, et cetera, the city names I'm not familiar with. But Baruch Hashem, there was really then obviously around the world internationally. Obviously, Baruch Hashem, Lubavitch was very well represented because you see dots all over the country in the United States, and you know that those areas where nobody assumes he's Yidden, what there is a Chabad house, and plenty of Yidden in the Chabad house are. So it really is unbelievable to see how the Yiddish Welt came together for this unbelievable geulah. And it really is the Menatzchim. There was the logistical end of, or rather the production end of it. And that was, a big undertaking. Baruch Hashem, everybody who had a part in that kind of was working tirelessly day and night. But obviously, the biggest part of it was Fazamelan, the Yiddish Welt, and that was very much the Menatzchim, more than anybody else. That got the word out. Really took charge. France and Russia and Ukraine and all over the United States and South America and it was unbelievable, and it just shows the power of the police of the Shliach and what they can achieve if we go with this attitude of Midas HaNitzachim, which is the ganze inyan of this group, that we're in it till the job gets done, until we get to the finish line, and we're not going to stop. And just yesterday, meeting till about midnight with Shlomo the Pastor in Mecca 302, an incredible. He doesn't want. I was a little too with the last news. I was a little too open and free with and I got a little patch off the hand for being a little too open with what's put in the Heicha fence to consider. But there's big things happening, and not just for the Kinus, but past the Kinus. There is something in development, and call it Tishrei the Parsec, that could be a paradigm shift, and I don't say that lightly. While the Menatzchim event, the IG'U event, was a tremendous amount of effort and bringing in together for one strong impact. There's the other approach, and others, which the Rebbe talks about a different approach, and not just to do the one massive pu'ula that just busts through the geulah, but to start, in a sense, cultivating in our daily lives a geulah mentality. We know this in multiple sikhs, etc. And he is putting something together right now. And it's going, and the only reason that I can't be more forward with the details is because there's going to be very shortly an official launch, and he wants to kind of save it. But he told me he's planning on coming on to the Menatzchim group next week in Hashem, or the next time we're meeting, once he has some real concrete details in order to, again, galvanize the Menatzchim in similar to the Tut Alpha to really have them be the tip of the spear in terms of getting it out. But it is going to be a comprehensive change in Oiskok for Shluchim, for Anash, and for Balabat. It's going to be operating on all three levels. Material prepared with all three, specifically for custom made for all three, for Shluchim specifically, for Anash specifically, and for Balabatim, for Chabad House Balabatim specifically. And obviously that last will be handed over to the Shluchim as a resource, or provided to the Shluchim as a resource. And it's very exciting stuff, very exciting. It really is. You can tell that this is a younger man, Shlomi, who spends his waking hours thinking about this, not just thinking about the logistics of it, but thinking the nekuda and what's the direction for these things. And it really is. It's coming out, but it's gotta love Khan. It's 2:00 and the Sefer Torah is coming out. Can I happen in Kinus Workshop? I can be mazaka all of you with the Kinus Workshop. Anyways, the bottom line is that, like everything else, for it to catch on and really become powerful is going to be the grassroots. So that's and it's going to be first the effort. I can give you some idea. Obviously, the lead up to the Kinus we already talked about is going to be based on certain days. The Simcha for the Shliach, the mental mission statement until the geulah Shleima, and it's 30 years, and it's going to be a very interesting program, a kickoff event, and then a running effort until the Kinus. And then around about a week or so later, they're going to kick off a comprehensive program that will last months, even until the geulah Shleima. It's a shame. So it could be months because we can knock out line and even the Stein Hadash, we can take him and Michael Lemon in the Sikhs of the Rebbe, no question. But it's going to be a very well put together. He's working with all the big business to put together but all with the idea of in Yonigol Mashiach being a practical directive, not just one-off, but to start living it, not only for Shluchim to live it, for Balabatim for Anash to live it, for Balabatim to live it, to live geulah, and using the Sikhs of the Rebbe to establish a regimen, a process of milestones and outlooks that will shift people into a geulah mindset. And it's very, very impressive and very exciting. And that's all I can share. I'm trying to speak to as far as I can go on this without knowing that the word's going to get back to him and he's going to get angry at me. That the Shluchim should become excited because something is going to be a big Menatzchim leap forward in this effort. So that's my point on this. All right. I'll
Sandy. Best regards.
I will.
Yeah, it's all in mine.
Zusha, you're muted.
Yes, Sternberg. Yes, Sternberg.
I want to second the motion to everything that Sandy said, because what we heard last night was amazing. There's one thing which I will disagree with Sandy. He said there's going to be a paradigm shift. There has been a paradigm shift. And I think that's important to realize.
I agree with you.
The Guf geht doch noch ein Rosh. and I'm not going to say was it the Rosh, was it the Son of B'cholefen. There is definitely a tremendous shift in the what they like to call the head offices. They do set the tone, and over there's been a tremendous positive shift, and this is the paradigm shift, which obviously is going to have repercussions all over. Also, the Rebbe helfen.
Let me ask you a question. What role do you think the Menatzchim will play in it? Is it important or not?
He has, yes. Shlomi, I mean, it was a long call last night, hours, where he was giving a general, and he has a role for the Menatzchim to reach out, to create those study groups.
So does it make sense? Does it make sense that we should grow the Menatzchim? Will be more
There's no question about it. The idea is, let's put it this way, the idea is that you hope that before the Kinus, every single Shliach should have learned and internalized and start living the Sicha Chai Soranun base. This is phenomenal, right? I'm not going to focus now on the rest, which he has for Anash. It's a whole 6-month project, but I'm just talking this right now. To make this happen, we should have to encourage as many shluchim to organize shiurim and organize Hachlotos and organize kibbutzes in learning those, because he's going to have online all kinds of level shiurim for le'ir and the girsa v'chulu. But the input that Menatzchim can have is in reaching out as many shluchim as possible or impossible to get everybody literally to, as they say in good old English, hit the book, push it to sit down and learn. And this is where it's a numbers game. As simple as that. The more we call, the more you get.
So maybe we can get maybe all of us can make a hachlotos to write down 5 names today, people that we think would possibly join if we called them up and took the time to invite them. Also, maybe we can come up with a Menatzchim business card, like a half a page, quarter page, we can give it out to Kinus, to friends, to people that we know, even if they're not close. We could walk up to them and say, hey, would you consider joining this effort?
Or maybe it's an idea also, maybe to dedicate maybe 10-15 minutes to give a synopsis of the whole thing, and people can come in only for those 10-15 minutes. Because people for 45 minutes are stuck along a maisa. Can that happen?
What does that mean? To make a Menatzchim group for 15 minutes a week?
No. Make it 45 minutes, but try to stress the 10-15 minutes. The last 10-15 minutes, they can just call in to hear what the maskana of that day was, and to take it further. The Pel Mamish.
Right.
10-15 minutes. Everyone's 10-15 minutes. You have to make it. 45 minutes is a bit long. I mean, I have no problem with it.
Right. No, it's a good point. It would have to be done on the spot, right? Like as we speak.
What do you mean on the spot?
The last 15 minutes would be a recap.
The last 15 minutes do a recap. Everyone that can't do the 45 minutes, just like you have now, you have the 8-minute daf. You know the 8-minute daf, the base back in them.
No.
There's an 8-minute daf. They do 8 minutes. The whole daf, the daf ayim in 8 minutes. Yeah.
Nice. So how would we do that? We'd have to know what we're going to talk about them, and that's when we don't necessarily know.
No, we can. No. You tell people that the last 10-15 minutes we're going to go recap, and that's going to be the bechein. They can actually join for the 45 minutes. Give them a choice: 45 minutes or the 15 minutes.
Or they can watch it later.
I'm afraid what's going to be that everybody's going to come to the last 10 minutes, and you won't have what to discuss.
Oh,
not so scared. I think the people who get on every week are dedicated.
That gives us a should have something. Not to kratzen. Half an hour you can get to something. It takes us so long.
Also, I want to speak about Shlomi. If you are able to hear us, if you can come on, even just the audio. There was some discussion on the Menatzchim WhatsApp group, and I was hoping, we can discuss it in person here. There's some really beautiful things guys were talking about before the Mazel Tov today. Rabbi Itchishmukler was speaking about some things. I think everybody saw that, right?
To get Rabbanim.
Yeah. So I'm saying a conversation that we have on WhatsApp is nice, and then we could talk about it in person here and come down to some concrete things.
Andy, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to get off. As I told you, I do have to make Hepsakeli Derech HaTeva. It's starting in about 2.5 hours.
We could all say l'chaim that you should be matzliach.
Yeah,
Amen.
amen.
Amen. But I just want to plant a thought here. If Chas v'Shalom beim Kinus noch sitzen Gottes, maybe we can make an official request to the Vaad Kinus. There should be a Menatzchim workshop.
Oh, very good idea.
That's nice. But ultimately, it's when we personally invite someone, and explain
but
it.
Then it's all the shluchim. It's all the shluchim.
Yeah.
I don't even know. That's Shliach.
Yeah. So who has connections? Let's lock it down right now. Elaine just got on.
But we got to Shleimi. What do you mean? Speak 302. What's that?
No, Shlomi is not the Vaad Kinus. You have to go to the Vaad Kinus.
Who is that, Ebzusha?
Who is the Vaad Kinus today? I don't know. You know what? Avremel Sternberg, as an example.
Avremel?
You know what I would do? I would send an official letter. Somebody should create a Menatzchim Photoshop stationery and speak on behalf. And we are a group of 120, 100 or whatever. And we, as you certainly know, that we have been doing programs, etc. We would like to have.
You mentioned the programs. You mentioned the program. We have it under our belts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We have proven ourselves that we can produce things. So we would like to, we're asking officially to have a workshop.
That's a good idea. Very good.
You think we should have a logo? I think we should be without a logo. We're unofficial.
No. Let's keep our disorganized success.
That's the logo. That's a good one.
Yes, if we can find some kind of there's a Picasso artwork abstract. So this will be our logo.
I'll ask my 6-year-old to make
it. Without the Hamil to the Bedichase, so this older couple is going to a modern museum to check to see the beautiful art. Anyway, they're going to sing a portrait that everybody's oohing and ahhing, and they don't understand what's going on. They feel embarrassed. So decided they're going to ask the guide. Says, you don't know what this is? This is Picasso. Dr. Very Picasso. Don't you know? But fine, I don't know. But what is the painting? Dr. This is a self-portrait. He says, this is what it looked like? No, you don't understand. This is, forgot my mask. This is an expression of his feelings, his emotions, and his the whole personality, the strokes. Okay, good, fine, thank you. But there's a similar picture next to it, and said, and what is this? Said, this is his wife. So the Altitchke turns around to his wife. I hope they had no children. So if you can create a logo of this kind, it will reflect who we are. Okay,
yeah. Shlomi, I'm requesting
Write this down. Write all the Mendy. Let's not forget this. I definitely think the 10-15 minute, short version, it should work for many people. No?
I'm writing down 10-15 minute recap. What else? Kinus.
A workshop at the Kinus. We still have to do. I told the Reuven, I think we should still send out like the recap of the United for geulah thing in different languages. Plus the Hachlotos. What people should do. Learning about Mashiach, having a give tzedakah, little tzedakah from Kinus Geulah.
What does that mean, a recap? What does that mean? We should send out to who?
To everyone that we can send out, all the connection, all the WhatsApps, everything that we send out for the United for geulah, right? We have emails, we have people's names. Officially 500,000 people were registered, right? People that want to know more about it. Whoever we have that we can connect to, that we can send out about the recap of the Hachlotos that we made, I think it should be done in all languages. People should know what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
Write that down. It's very important. For example, today I got a donation for so on. So I wrote back to him,
Right.
you know. But usually, forget about it. Usually just say thank you and that's it. I said, 1 minute. Let me write back. Dale Stecker, like this, we learned about Mashiach together after we get to Tzedakah. That's the impact.
Yeah.
Just thinking here. Do you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
A couple. Number one, I was just wondering. You're saying about doing one thing a workshop by the Kinus, but another thing is if you are, I think it might be better off if you try to get like a 5-minute by one of the general sessions. I don't know. Maybe then you can explain what you're about, and I think that may be more effective. Why would people come to your workshop? I don't. Just a thought. I'm not taking away from that, but just a thought.
Yes. Yeah.
And then what?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
That's a thought. And another thought is one. I was just thinking that there's one thing also is you tell me, okay, we have this group. Why don't you join it? But another thing is if you actually come up with an idea, if you actually have a project, like like obviously the Total's project, but you actually have a project. Let's say people should learn something or something, and then if you try to market that actual project by the Kinus, whatever. If you're up to that stage, it may be a bit more tangible for something, specific for people to do. I don't know. Just a thought. I'm not taking away from anything, just a thought.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah. I'm trying to think about it. When we started the Menatzchim, I don't think we had an idea of what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. The whole idea was that we should get together and put our minds together. And there's nothing more important for us to gather about than what's most important to the Rebbe, obviously, is Mashiach. So that was clear. And that's what we're all about, to make it happen and to try to do as much as we can to make it happen.
Right, exactly.
So, but then we also realize that the more our numbers, the greater our numbers, the more ability we have to share things when we do come up with something, and especially when it came to a IG'U, we realized that if half the Menatzchim, would reach out to 100 people each, the numbers just skyrocket, and then we could reach out to other shluchim to encourage them and so on. We're connected. That's what we are. So if we can't get every shliach on board, at least we can get more shluchim on board, and in so doing, be more effective with everything we do. Whatever that is, we don't know what it is.
Yeah, 100%.
So we just maybe everyone who's on can make a little achlata to just write down, just today, before the end of the day, write down 5 people. Just think about 5 friends, 5 chaverim, 5 connections that they can, that they will reach out to personally. Even if it's a voice note and say, have you heard about the Menatzchim? Here we go. Yeah. A 15-minute slot in Motzoei Shabbos general session to recap the Menatzchim workshop. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's that's both, right? You have a workshop and you have a 15-minute. Did I freeze, or that's just Aaron Isaac? No, I see you label moving, so I know I didn't freeze.
Yeah, no.
Yes, an elevator pitch on WhatsApp about what Menatzchim is or isn't.
Yeah.
So you know what? Okay, so we could put down details and then we could work it out, make it more, sharpen it, because we can all pitch in what we do think and we should be in an elevator pitch. Takes a little time to hone it down so that it's a quick pitch. Should we talk about the things that we've already done? Should we talk about why we're getting together in the first place? Different approaches to it. I would prefer just to say what we're about, not so much what we've done even, Uh-oh, and Isaac, you are muted.
I disagree. You should definitely think they should know who they're dealing with.
See, I told you we have to discuss it right away.
You did two things you definitely have to say. They'll know right away. You say United for geulah, they definitely have to say. That's out.
Uvikshu, to doubts.
Yeah, Vikshu, United for geulah.
Yeah. How much could you fit into an elevator pitch? Reb Label, have you ever written one of those things up?
Wendy, you just say those two things, and if they don't get down to talk what you're talking about, then we'll have to figure it out. So.
But also, it's going to be used personally. The whole inyan is that you reach out to someone personally and say, "Look, I'm talking to you right now. I want you on this thing. It doesn't like a big commitment, but please, ask them if there's anything more important."
Right.
If they say yes, then we're in trouble.
If I want to encourage someone to join, so what I guess even myself, what am I? The point is what? Because people speak together to speak about what we can do to make the geulah happen.
Not stam people. These are the people that the Rebbe chose to be his emissaries, his shluchim for everything. You know what I mean? Who's going to do it? Who's most responsible, if not us? So we could do it individually, and people have wonderful things in their community, and they talk to the balabatim one-on-one, which is absolutely the most critical thing. But does that mean we shouldn't collaborate to put our minds together to try to generate more excitement? Sometimes some weeks I'm more excited, and sometimes I'm less excited because I'm human. But if someone else is excited, like I just heard Sandy and Zusha speak about what they heard from 301?
302.
Sorry, 302. And it's exciting. I was excited to hear about it.
And mystery, I came in the middle of it.
Okay, so they're talking about something coming on, which Sandy called a paradigm shift. That's unbelievable to hear such a word. He said, I don't take it lightly. It's not stop throwing out words. That's very exciting. That's very, very exciting. It's coming from the top down. And I think personally that when you're working on something and you know that there's a group of shluchim who care, and you can hear their voices, you can tune into the recording of it and you hear that they care, they're coming together, they're putting everything aside for whatever time it is every week to put their minds together to show that they care. It's a support behind them. This office 302 knows that they have us behind them 100%. Right. Look, we all have weaknesses, but this is all strength, to be there together.
Can I mention something? It's not exactly.
By the way, what is your name? What is your name? If you can introduce yourself.
Sorry, Mordechai Haller.
Oh,
sometimes join your class, and sometimes get to join. No, but I was just wondering, is it? Maybe I'm too small-minded, but is it maybe an idea? Is that we can encourage each other to studying Yom Mashiach. Whether you want to learn a few minutes on the call or not, that's another discussion. Whatever you can, that's another discussion. You're going to just maybe someone has something small to share, but maybe obviously the main thing is so maybe I'm talking to the crowd, and maybe you guys all study who knows how much. But I know I for myself can do with a bit of encouragement, to learn more of these things. I just wondering, just a thought.
That 100%. That's a very good point. I agree. But you know what? Interesting. Sandy said the 302. The thing that they're talking about right now is a three-prong approach. One of them is to shluchim. That shluchim should get educated on in IG'U Mashiach, especially in the Rebbe.
Yeah.
Mordechai, where are you located?
I'm located in Michigan. Kalamazoo, Michigan. You had a Grand Rapids, Michigan. Okay, that's the nearest bigger place.
Right. Beautiful. So how do we make that practical? That we should encourage one another to learn more. Should we do it together? I don't know if this is the platform. To do any serious learning. It's such a short time.
Yeah, I was thinking, Taki, we should do something right at the beginning, a Vaad. A very short Vaad to Mashiach. This we also learning about Mashiach. It's very important.
So should we give different people every week just to share something?
Yeah, it might be, yes, to get some more participation. That might be an idea.
I like it. Write it down.
It's getting people more involved by.
2-minute thing, not on a drasha, a 2-minute thing.
Yeah.
2 to 5 minutes. Savart, the story, Chiddush, or something what you think for yourself. You know, the Egena, what you think for yourself. What gets you going about Mashiach? You know, it should be maybe personal.
Yeah.
Something interesting happened last week, 2 years. What you thought, what you're thinking, what you thought.
Right.
I think people start thinking, talking about that.
Beautiful. Okay. So we have some practical things. We have some direction. I hope everyone will take Hachlotos to write down 5 names. And not even to call them, but at least to write them down, and then we'll follow up with it either today, tomorrow, whatever. And we can continue the conversation on the WhatsApp.
Can I?
Yes.
Can I ask a bit of a cynical question? But again, my question is like this: that if you have 300 people, how's everyone going to feel that they're sharing their opinion? You can't have 300 opinions, kind of thing. I just trying to, well, not you can't. I'm just wondering how would that work?
So let me give you an example, something practical. We have Rabbi Lang on right now, and Rabbi Lang and Rabbi Gaizinski, the two of them, they had this back and forth. Someone mentioned something on the Menatzchim meeting, and that inspired Rabbi Lang. That re-inspired Rabbi Gaizinski. So if every person comes up with something that inspires them about Mashiach, practically, for real, that this is something I live with, it might not talk to all 300 people, but what happens if 5-6 guys it talks to them, and then someone else comes in next week and shares what works for them, and that works for another 5 guys. So we're doing exactly what we're supposed to do, but coming together to encourage one another, to inspire one another on the most important thing that we could possibly spend any time on, which is bringing Mashiach practically. Does that, Mordechai, does that directly answer what you're saying?
Yeah. So it's not for every project you want 300 opinions. I mean, you have too many opinions. It's gonna whatever you're not gonna be able to pull a project off the ground, as if to say.
No. This is not a project. Yeah. We're not talking about getting projects done. That's very different. Like, for example, with IG'U, we split up into 5 different groups of people who wanted to put the time and energy into it. To make it happen. That's different. I'm talking more about collaborating together as shluchim with one focus in mind, and that is Mashiach. What it is not, we're not talking about specifics. That's why I don't think we could put down specifics. Maybe this is what we've done, but what we're going to do, that's not the key here. It's that we're doing. It's a little bit of a different approach, but I'll tell you one thing, none of that would happen if we didn't come together in the first place, So the first step is coming together, putting our minds and hearts together, sharing, and then from there, things spring forth.
Mandy, I've got a technical question. How many WhatsApp groups are there? I mean, I see, I just have Menatzchim 70, so I'm not familiar with conversations that are going on behind the scenes or on a different WhatsApps.
Okay, that's a good question. So there's 2 general Menatzchim groups. We made one. We were afraid that people would be turned off if there's too much conversation going back and forth. So there's one Menatzchim spelled in Hebrew that Sandy started. And that's a very busy group where everything that's conversation is going on over there, back and forth. The other one is shut down where people cannot talk. It's just for basically announcements, and the what is it called? The administrators of the group just post. Yeah. Basically me. I post things there. So if you would like, Label, to join the other group, it's very encouraged, even though we didn't talk about it a lot.
Put me on. I don't know if I'll, how much I can contribute. Although I will say,
most people don't write anything. They're just there.
you know, in my own personal opinion, I believe that we have a valuable property, if you will, on the Menatzchim website, and that we should take advantage of it by posting resources, whether it's other classes, Sherm, or other websites, or I have the book Mashiach Day by Day, which was given out at the Kinus in 2011. And you know, if people have come or are coming or could come, that's another way to kind of spread the message. And whoever wants to post something, you know, let them post.
And where is that website?
Well, the website I thought was unitedforgeulah.com. And I assume people are still going there to see the presentation. And if not, we should encourage people and strengthen the website and solidify it by adding things and by, you know, promoting, you know, any ideas and by, you know.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the perfect website.
No, let's come up with one.
Well, I think there should be a Menatzchim website and then a United for geulah. United for geulah is like the whole world, you know, it's a different, this is like resources for ourselves, right? That you were talking about? Maybe
Not
both?
necessarily. Why,
Right.
what's in a sense, you know, United for geulah is, yeah, you're right. If you're talking about the group, resources for the group, that's one thing. But I was thinking, yeah, for United for geulah for everyone.
Yeah.
As we get things, we should post Ruvain's his videos, you know, that could be on there, and anything other guys do as well. These are all resources that you know can help spread the
Absolutely
word.
true. 100% correct. So I'm going to pause this. I'm going to stop it for now. Thank you everyone for being on.